Engagement with Rockford residents on holding city officials accountable. That's the goal of a sales tax forum designed by the community to understand how their money is being spent. 23 News reporter Anthony Ferretti talks with city leaders and informs citizens about Rockford's 8.75% sales tax and how it's divvied up.
5% of Rockford sales tax goes back to the state, and 1% each goes toward public safety, infrastructure, and municipal use. 0.5% is for mental health, and the remaining 0.25% is for the county.
We don't operate in a silo, right? We're all serving the community together.
City of Rockford Finance Director Carrie Haggerty is one of 5 people from the city and county who discussed how Rockford's 8.5% sales tax is being put to use. City Council unanimously approved a $322 million capital improvement plan in December.
I know everybody hates the road closures, but at the end of the day, you know, these are important assets that we need to maintain, and I think we've got a great plan in store for everybody this year.
Haggerty has kids who attend Rockford Public Schools and is delighted to hear what the district is using its tax money for.
Understanding that they're working on a new 5-year facilities plan and looking at creative ways to fund that don't necessarily come back to my property tax bill is very important.
Haggerty also believes it's important to invest in the Winnebago County Mental Health Board.
Certainly with some of the events that we've experienced here in our community lately just reinforces the importance of that and investing in mental health services.
I found it to be an extremely interesting hour to hear about what's all going on in our community and the commitment that people are making to try to be as transparent as they can.
Thursday's forum is hosted by Transform Rockford as part of their mission to keep the community informed and engaged.
The more informed people are, the better decisions they can make.
Haas says Transform Rockford is in talks to host more forums on hot button topics to keep residents informed and engaged with what's going on in their community.
Thank you, Anthony. And Haggerty encourages residents to check the city's website to get an idea of what projects are happening in your neighborhood, like this.